I love you. All right, get your hymn books and turn to page 335. Page 335. Y'all let's stand and sing. She's gone to Snow Creek. Judy and them are doing the pilot night. She wants to see that. So, take your hymn books, turn to page 335. We're going to stand and sing. Stand on the promises. Now, don't sing it the way you traditionally do. We need a little bit of time. All follow me, okay? Standing on the promises of Christ my King, through eternal ages, let His praises ring. Glory in the highest, I will shout and sing. Standing on the promises of God, where I'm standing, yes I'm standing. Standing on the promises of God, yes I'm standing. Overcoming daily with the Spirit, so I'm standing on the promises of God. I'm standing, standing on the promises of God. Yes, I'm standing, standing on the promises of God. Standing on the promises I listening every moment to the Spirit's call. Resting in my Savior as my all and all. I'm standing on the promises of God. Yes, I'm standing, standing on the promises of God. Yes, I'm standing. We worship God with His tithe and offerings. Turn to page 91. Page 91, Silent Night. Holy. on the second. On the last. I'm thinking him about on page 138 at Calvary. Years I spent in vanity and pride. Every night the Lord was foolish fine. Oh, each night was for me a night of Calvary. First and that was when the praise was free. All I had was the fire free. Then I first saw my liberty and God's word that my sin I learned. can't hardly wait for that day. Oh, what a day that will be. There is coming a day when no heartache shall come. All is peace forevermore on that happy golden shore. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see. And I look upon His face, no one will save me by His grace. When He takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. No more burdens to bear, no more sickness, no pain, no more parting over there, and forever I will be with the one who died for me. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon His face, the one who saved me by His grace. When He takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon His face, the one who saved me by His grace. He takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. All right, Lord.
I wanted to do it's always been played around the kids for Christmas and all, but to me, it's my favorite Christmas song of all Christmas songs. It's my favorite, and it's called "Away in the Manger." And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I don't get to do a whole lot, but with my knees and all, I have to miss a lot of church. But I wanted to sing tonight. I wanted to bring my girls up here, which they were up here already anyway. But I wanted, from my house to your house, I wanted to say Merry Christmas. And this is the way that I say Merry Christmas, is with my music. And y'all please keep me in your prayers, because my legs are in bad shape. And the doctors can't do anything as far as working on the knees until I get some places healed up that's on them. Because they don't want to risk the staffs and all that stuff. So, and there's not a day goes by that I don't hurt. But I know God's got a purpose in my life for something. I don't know what it is, but it's there for a reason. I love this song. I love this song. And y'all listen to it, because it's just the meaning of Christmas. It's just the true meaning of Christmas. It's what happened on that glorious night. So, all right, y'all ready? Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. The stars in the sky look down where he lay. The asleep on the hay. The baby awakes, but little Lord Jesus, no crying he makes. I love the Lord Jesus. Look down from the sky and stay by my cradle till morning is done. Hear me, Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay close by me forever. Now y'all in for a treat. This song here, it's not your standard spiritual Christmas song, but from my house to yours, we want you to have a special Merry Christmas. And Farrah does this song. She does it with a track, guys, because I just love this, the way she does it. And so y'all, listen to her.
Pray for me, because I haven't done this in a year. This is it.
You got the words? Okay.
yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together. If the fates allow, hang the shining star upon the highest mountain. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together. If the fates allow, hang the shining star upon the highest mountain. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Good, Bert. All right, I'm gonna ask a question and then I want you to share with me. What is your most fondest Christmas? Jesus Christ's birthday, that's great. That's exactly what we're doing. What's your fondest Christmas? Now, folks, I'm gonna get it. Yes, sir.
I think this year.
This year's a good one, yes. I'm gonna share this with you. The amazing thing that ever happened is my daddy made sure that Christmas was something special when we were kids. And the most memorable Christmas was that in 1965. And I've shared it with so many people that at the age of 10 years old, we were told there would be no Christmas at the Baggett house. Daddy was in the VA hospital with us, where an ulcer had busted, and they had to made a surgery. And my mom, she fell at the old cotton mill down on Broadway. Broke her back. And so back then when they did back surgery, they put you in a cast. They put you in a cast from your neck to your ankles. And they suspended you from the ceiling. And these two big old boys would come in and they would spot Mama around to kind of keep everything going. And this was like September when all this was going on. And 10-year-old didn't quite understand. Daddy wasn't around, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with where was Daddy. But there's been some Christmases where I thought, you know, candy canes and oranges was a big thing. That was one thing that stayed at the house, was a bag full of apples and a bag full of oranges and tangerines and nuts. Oh my goodness, my daddy loved to make sure there was nuts in the house. Of course, he raised 3, but they was they was mixed nuts, there was walnuts, there was pecans, there was Brazil nuts, there was, oh my goodness, the list just goes on and on. But then there was one thing that Daddy would buy that he made sure that we knew that you couldn't only have it just a few, and that was chocolate. Chocolate. But inside the chocolate, folks, was this cream. Oh, they called cream drops. I have looked for those things for years and years. And a couple of years ago, I stopped at the Dollar General and sitting on the shelf was a bag full of cream drops. I bought $20 worth. Brought them home and I set them up, poured them in a jar. We put them in a container and set them out where people, every time somebody come in the house, they grab one. That $20 worth of cream drops got gone quick. Tried to keep chocolate covered cherries in the house. Boy, there's another one that goes quick. I love a good chocolate covered cherry. Got to be good. But 1965, folks, all that stuff just didn't happen. There was no apples, there was no oranges, there was no tangerines, there was no Christmas tree, and that really bothered me. I couldn't figure out at the age of 10 years old what was going on with the Christmas. Now, Farron didn't know this, but Farron and Farah didn't know this, but when he said what he did, I sat there and reminisced on Daddy and things that Daddy did for Christmas. My daddy wasn't a religious man by no means. My dad didn't get saved till I became an adult. And the Christmas was something important to him. But it was all about family, Brother Farron. Daddy wanted to make sure that his children understood that Christmas was about love. So as I got older and began to grow my own little family, I instilled that in my children. If you come to my house, you're going to find in the fruit dish apples, tangerines, oranges, and candy. I'll make sure there's some hard candy. Y'all remember buying Miss Shelby probably does. Y'all remember buying the hard candy in the little tin cans, about that big around about tall? I thought they had quit doing that. Y'all in the dollar store, they got them. They got them. But folks, here's what the problem is. You better eat them. You better get one, because if don't, they'll stick together. When you go to get one, you're going to pull 4 out. But let me tell you something. But the year 1965 was probably the most devastating Christmas that I remember. And I say devastating because none of that stuff was coming together. Y'all remember the Charlie Brown story about the Charlie Brown Christmas tree? In 1965, we had a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I went down below Pendleton Homes there, and I cut down this little bitty tree that had a base on it about that big around, and it stood about that tall. And if you put any kind of decorations on it, you had to do it down on the lower limbs, because if you put it on the top limb, that thing said. I thought about that thing, and I thought about that thing. In November came around. We had the Thanksgiving, and if it hadn't been for Miss Arnold, who lived in the apartments at that time, she came and she fixed the Thanksgiving lunch for me and my brother and my sister, and we had to help Mama eat. Still no daddy. First week in December, y'all, when we went to school, guys, they wasn't under this 2-3 weeks out at the time. You got a week off for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you only got 3 days for Thanksgiving. You didn't get a fall break, you didn't get a summer break, you didn't get a spring break. You went to school from Labor Day till
Thanksgiving. Boy, I couldn't hardly wait for Christmas to get here because I knew the countdown was on. But in 1965, there was no enthusiasm. Y'all, there was a Christmas one year where Daddy bought Ray this fire truck. And you put these big old D-cell batteries up inside that thing, and there's buttons all over it. You'd mash them, and it'd scream, and it'd mash another one. You got somebody talking to somebody. You mash another, and the back wheels will start rolling. Midnight. We're all trying to sleep, and all of a sudden you hear, woo, 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 woo. And Ray's got the cover pulled up over his head, and all you can see is lights flashing through the covers. Memorable Christmases. My dad finally got to come home about the 15th day of December. We were getting ready to get out of school for our Christmas break. Daddy pulled me to the side, and he said, I need you to do me a favor. And I said, what's that? He said, I need you to talk to your brother and sister and tell them Santa Claus ain't coming to this house. Now, being a child, I didn't know you had to pay for Christmas. Didn't know this. So that Christmas morning, Christmas Eve, y'all had been going to Mikado, and I was singing in the junior choir, and if it hadn't been for Miss Sheehan's, I don't know what I'd have done. That's the reason why Christmas to me and a child is something important. And I told Brother Sheehan in the choir loft one day, he'd come over and he says, Brother, you okay? And I says, no, sir, I found out that Christmas ain't coming to the house. And he looked at me and said this, Brother Perry, no, Jesus is with you, son, so Christmas is already there. I didn't get a grip to that, Brother Mark, till I became an adult. Because I'm a child. I'm 10 years old. What does Christmas mean to a 10-year-old? Christmas Eve, I got my mom all cleaned up, and I got her medicine in her, and then helped my dad move that little sack that he had on his side, because when they'd done the surgery on him, they had to put a drain tube on him to keep all the nasty fluids built off that area where they had done the surgery. I helped him clean all that up. He was sleeping in his chair in the living room. Here it is, 10:30. Ray's in the bed, and all he could think about is Santa Claus is going to be here in a little bit. I didn't want to tell him. Daddy was stretched out, and I wrapped him up. Tear rolled down my daddy's face. Hardly ever seen a tear roll off my daddy's face. And he said, I let you guys down. 11:15, I hear this. My daddy said, what in the world? So I go to the door, and people tell me this all the time, that there is no such thing as a Santa Claus. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you folks, you're looking at Santa Claus. There sits the 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 Santa Claus. Whether the kids want to accept it or not, that's Santa Claus. Well, standing in the doors of that apartment at B10 Pendleton Homes, there stood Santa Claus. But I knew it was Brother Sheehan. Like Wednesday night. The minute I came down the hallway this side, the first thing the kids said was, you're not Santa Claus, you're the preacher. I'm sitting there holding them, and as they brought me the little ones, they brought me Ashlyn. And Ashlyn looked at me and she said, you ain't Santa Claus, you Jesus. Well, if that child don't humble you, nothing will. As I stood there and just speechless, there stood Brother Sheehan, there stood Miss Sheehan's side of him, and then right behind him was Mr. Greenway and his wife, and then there was another deacon, and I don't remember his name, but there was 2 boxes of stuff on a hand truck. 2 boxes of stuff. My daddy's laying in that chair trying his best to get up where he could see what's going on, but my daddy was very protective of us kids. I'm crying because I saw one of the boxes slammed full of food, and in the pantry that we had in that apartment, there was 1 can of chicken noodle soup. 1 can. And Sheehan and that other 2 ladies that came with them came in the house, and they went straight to the pantry and began to unload that washing machine box full of food. Canned goods, you name it, it was in it. And I thought, oh my goodness. The other box, Mr. Greenway. If you don't know who Mr. Greenway is, he used to own a paint and body shop right here in Macon, Georgia, and it was on the corner of 3rd Street and Plum, and y'all, he was colorblind, but the best painter you ever met in your life. He ended up on Napier Avenue. Exactly. That's where we met her through the cotton mill, because my mom worked at the one downtown on Broadway. They opened up the box, and Mr. Greenway, instead of just reaching over and start pulling stuff out, dumped the box. You name it, every little thing a child would want. Now, understand now, folks, these are toys you had to get down on the floor to play with. There wasn't none of this wind them up, turn them loose. There wasn't none of this sitting there and playing on the TV all day long. You had to take them outside to play with. Kids did this day and time don't really realize what that means. As I stood there and watched them unfold, Brother Sheehan said to me, Christmas lives in this house because Jesus is in you. As I began to grow and became an adult, Christmas was that important to me. And it's still that important. Folks, I want my family around me during Christmas. And my girls know this. We have a tradition that we do at my house, and it's always been a tradition, and it's something that we've always done. Christmas Eve, before they go to bed, we'd sit around the Christmas tree, and they would look, and they'd pick the box up, and they'd shake it. Or they would reach over and get one and go. But here was the tradition. I would give them a piece of paper about the size of this one page of this bulletin. And at the top of that page, it would be written, what do you want? Most important would be number 1 down to number 10. And I'll get you the first 5. Now, boy, and when Misty got hers, she would use a color crayon, and this page would be full, and this page would be full, and she'd start another one. And then I'd ask her, baby, which one's the most important? Which one is the most important? She said, all of them. All of them. And folks, I would take on side jobs. I would paint people's houses. I would re-roof people's homes. I would do what I had to do to provide that spirit of Christmas. Christmas story get read at my house, just like it will always do, no matter who's there, who ain't there. Luke chapter 2 is the cruise Christmas story. That's the truth in the Christmas story. As I sat here and I was listening to Brother Farron, the first thing I thought about was, how many Christmases have you seen? I know how many I've seen, but how many have you seen? If you had to reach in and pull one out and say, this is the most fondest Christmas we ever had, tell me. I want to hear it. My children were there. I was completely happy. Trisha does this every year. What do you want for Christmas? I don't care. I really don't want anything. She goes, yeah, right. I believe that too. But you know what, guys? I found this out. If you pay close enough attention to your wife, she will slip up and tell you what she wants for Christmas. And tell you, but she'll tell you, we don't need nothing. But then they'll slip up. Brother Mark, you've learned, had your brother. They'll slip up. They'll slip up and say something. Let me tell you what I did one year, Miss Shelby. Teresa and I, we had just bought this place out in Crawford County. And we had first Christmas in it. We had a fireplace. And boy, I put that Christmas tree up right by that fireplace. And boy, I had it all slicked off. And it was real nice and neat. This was the year we was doing pretty good. And I bought for Teresa a fur coat. It was a 3/4 length fur coat. Purdy coat. I wrapped that thing up in a big old box. I wanted it to be something else. I wanted everybody to be able to come in the house and see that big old box. Christmas Day, she opened it up and she said, that's nice. I done paid a hunk of change for this fur coat, and it's nice. You know what my wife told me? How many of you knows my wife? Y'all want to know what my wife told me? This ain't me. She said, this ain't me. At first, Brother Farron, I was hotter than a match stem when it got lit. But then I got to thinking about it. I'd rather my wife be truthful than to live out the lie. I reached in my billfold and I got out because I was afraid I'd bought the jacket too short. So I reached in my billfold and I pulled out the receipt. And she then turned red-faced because she saw what I paid for this fur coat. She said, "You did what?" I said, "Well, here, take it and go get what you want." How many of you have ever noticed that little thing that she wears that she just throws around her that just kind of wraps her up? That's what she wanted. I learned my wife right then. It ain't about the size of the gift, it's where it comes from. And if you give it from the heart, it means more. It means more. My girls got a Christmas present one time, y'all. It was the most amazing thing. It was y'all remember how they used to deliver milk? The milkmen, you guys, you kids won't. It was a glass bottle about that big and about that big around. Every once in a while, they would come into big glass containers, be about that tall and about that big around. One Christmas, we got a phone call from a friend of ours who said, "Brother, we want to do something for the girls, but you're gonna have to come get it, but you're gonna have to bring a hand truck." I can handle it. He goes, no, bring a hand truck. So I had a pair of hand trucks, and I grabbed them and I threw them in the back of the station wagon we had at the time. And we went to the brother's house, and Lord and behold, we got there. There stood that bottle, and it was full of nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies, $half. When we finally dumped them in the floor, and the girls was able to count it, they was close to $1,800 in that jar. $1,800. Now, Penny, my oldest one goes, "Oh boy." Jokingly, I said, "What, y'all only get a third of it? Me and Mom gets the rest of it." My oldest one said, "This is our Christmas present." But Miss Shelby, you want me to tell you what my girls did? They went and spent that money not on themselves, but on their mama and their daddy. Now, Brother Farron, is that not Christmas? When you think about somebody else more than you think about yourself. So then you gotta consider this. God thought more of us, that he would send his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed shall not perish but have everlasting life. So I'm gonna turn it over to you now. Tell me your most memorable Christmas.
She had a father, okay? And that's hard to say that, because if I could talk about it, I'd be very, but, didn't have nothing to do with her, didn't want her. We found out she was a girl, instead of a boy, and took us back home. And I felt in my heart that child needed a father. And I prayed over it. I want to make sure it was what I want to do. I just looked at the nasty divorce, child support, and all that stuff. But it was my best Christmas that year that I had both of those girls. Farrah was baby, Gloria was 5, and we had our Christmas. And I felt like God gave that baby a father that would raise her and love her. And now she's 23, 24. Got the prettiest little baby. That's one of my best Christmas of all the years. Even back as kids, most of y'all, my family it's the most dysfunctional family in the world, I think. And there was times we made go over to our aunt's house. They were going to have Christmas, and me and my two brothers had to sit there and watch them go through all their big hoopla gifts and everything. And we had to sit there and watch them do that because we were invited to go to my aunt's house. So my daddy felt like it was that's what we needed to do. But my Aunt Maggie, I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She would go to the dollar store and she would get a pair of socks or something like that. So she would have something to give us boys. So my childhood Christmases, Aunt Maggie would love. But that Christmas that that child over there got a father was my favorite Christmas of all. But she's been there for me. My own blood was not.
She's telling me over and again that she was the best grease monkey help she'd ever been.
When I was down with my legs and when I was down with when I died in the hospital, it was during Christmas coming up. I wanted to put lights out and we didn't have enough receptacles. So she said, "Hey, I'll do it." So she strapped her little big walk on her belt. She got on the ladder, she walked around the edges of the house, she put up conduit, and she was there when they were at mine, when my brothers or my two oldest would never show up. Vera couldn't, but she was too little. Victoria was there for me.
Or,
Growing up, mom and dad, and always done all Christmas shopping. And, you know, that's whatever, you know, we just loved all Christmas shopping too, and Grady and mom. And I was 11 or 12. And it was actually kind of embarrassing to begin with. But I opened this box, and it was a bright red pair of bra pants.
red what?
Bra pants.
Oh, Lord. Delete.
I
I'm
closed the
sorry.
box as quick as I can, and he's like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" But that year, the year before, it bothered him because I had said, "Look what you got me," and he realized he done nothing. But that year, he bought as a joke. But then from that year forward, every year he bought one thing. All the way up to the year he died. The Saturday before he died, he bought my girls. My oldest and my niece. He bought one gift that was just from him. And I meant more than any of the rest of what we got because it was the time and the effort. And it wasn't where he had to call me up and ask me what I wanted. He knew me well enough to know what we wanted.
Yeah.
And that meant more to me than anything else.
All right. Anybody else? Most memorable Christmas. Go ahead, Terry. Oh, you know.
No, I've been here for almost 5 years now.
Right.
It was like the second year we was here. The first year I was miserable.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kids. I mean, I got little, but I got a third year when they weren't here. Well, that second year, we went to pass like we always do and all this stuff, and she was, of course, in cahoots. She already knew. We were there for a little bit, and next thing I know, all three of my boys, and they don't always get home, but they all three made a 2.5-hour trip, and they were all there. And that was it. That was all.
Amen. All right. Anyone else?
starting to school, but the first thing I remember getting for Christmas, I must have been 3 or 4 years old. It was a police on a motorcycle. You wind him up, you take the salt shakers off of the table, and he let him go on that table, and he'd get to the edge of the table, and he'd turn and come back the other way. He wouldn't run off of that table. I must have been 3 or 4, no more than 5 years old. But one of the best memory Christmas that I ever had. Me and my wife got married. She had 5 boys and 4 girls. Well, she had 8 when we got married, so she must have had 5 boys and 3 girls then. But we had the little girls in 62. This was 61 or 62 Christmas with 8 kids and a big old bulldog, and me and my wife, and we went to Kmart. And we bought 5 bicycles under that Christmas tree. And when them kids got up, I think my wife, we took some pictures and their eyes were red. I think she was crying. And that was Christmas of 62, I think. That's one I remember most of all. And another that I remember, I bought her a Mazda station like brand new out of the showroom window. I don't remember where it was, Warner Robins, somebody. That might have been when she had them red eyes, but she cried and cried and cried. And I told her to go down to the outside. And you call. I've had a lot of good memory Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I've had 80, this will be my 82nd Christmas.
Amen. Blake? There again?
Now, I've been around a while too. But some of my best Christmases I can remember has been had in the fellowship, I think it's downstairs then.
Yeah.
And I was Santa Claus for all the little kids. I had a ball prepared. I had the little packages that I get.
Yeah.
I made the things that they got. I'll never forget being Santa Claus.
I tell you something, folks. The kids Wednesday night, you're not Santa Claus, you're the preacher. Some of them didn't want to sit in my lap. And they're right there, Rob.
You couldn't tell I wasn't Santa Claus because here I was a little round thing and glasses, and I wore gloves so they wouldn't see my hands.
Yeah. But I wore gloves and they still get Santa Claus, you're the preacher.
I can see you being Santa.
I got a picture of them. I like photos of my picture.
Yeah, I can't. All right, anybody else? Don't want to miss nobody. Yes, sir.
The best Christmas I had, and I ain't had a lot of good Christmases because I lost my uncle on Christmas Day when I was a young and he shot and killed himself. So that's why I don't like Christmas. But one of the best Christmases that I had was last year. My dad ain't had nothing to do with me for a long time. And my mom's husband, last year, he didn't give us much for Christmas because we all had been married and got youngins now. He gave me what he gave me for Christmas, and he told me, he said, I know it's not a lot. He said, but I love you. And that was one of the very few times I ever heard that man tell me he loved me.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I didn't have a daddy since I was 5, 6 years old, up until my mama got with him. And then, I didn't want to see him as my dad, but last year, it finally hit me that all these years I've had a daddy. I was just too hard-headed to see it, and since last Christmas up until now, me and that man's got a relationship that can't be broken, that can't nobody come in between. And I just praise God for it. I thank God for it every day.
Amen. Y'all, Fred is celebrating an anniversary in his life. Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? It's been 1 year since he's had it done. All right, Ms. Betty, hold on.
Okay, this is back in the late 50s. I guess I was a teenager. I stayed with my sister and her husband, and her husband's mother lived with them. She was an elderly woman. And her name was Una Signature. I never forget her. But anyway, we had got her some something for Christmas, and she wasn't expecting it. And she was just flabbergasted, she ran back in her bedroom, and she was in there a few minutes, and I never forget this, but she come out, like they do, had a little handkerchief, little women's handkerchief, so she had took that handkerchief and wrapped it around a little candy cane, and she gave me that for Christmas, and you know what, I just thought the world and all of that, and that stays with me.
Why is it this small thing that gets us excited about? It's just amazing.
Back when we were kids, the small was about the size of it.
Brother Bailey?
That little red wagon.
Sir?
The little red wagon he had.
Red wagon.
Little Red Wagon. Do y'all remember? You guys won't know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to do it over here because they'll know what I'm. Y'all remember the little plastic cars that you could buy? They came several in a bag, and you put them on the front porch, and the bugs would get in them, and they'd start trying to get the little. They would walk. They would just crawl all over you. Boy, I got a couple of bags of those 1 year stuffed in a stocking, and we put them on the front porch, and we turned the lights on. I even changed out the 60-watt bulb, put a 100-watt bulb in there just to draw the bugs to the house. And these bugs would get all up on the little plastic cars, and they just all over the porch. But they get to the edge of the porch and stop, and they'd come back over here. It was just amazing. And again, it was a little stocking stuffer that somebody gave us for Christmas 1 year. That was 1 year. You're laughing, dude. Come on, bro. Like, how old? I was 13, 14. You have never heard of them? I come from Dublin, so that's probably good. All right. Anybody else? One more person. Your most memorable Christmas.
Every year for my nieces and nephews, I have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Yes.
And I always, it started out way back because I never had no money. And well, I never had money, but, so I started making all my nieces and nephews and all of them ornaments for Christmas, and that's what they would do for me for Christmas. And I felt bad about it, because I didn't have no money, and that's all I had to give them. Well, when was it? It was last year when Ashley, we went to Casey was born, his first Christmas and all that stuff. And Ashley said, this year Casey gets an ornament. So they, and they make like a big deal out of the little ornaments and stuff. I make them every year. And that just shows that apparently we're teaching them something right. They're learning the true meaning of something somewhere.
Right. Folks, again, Nicole did this 2 years ago. You come to the house in the living room, hanging above my chair, a sign that says, good parents make great grandparents. And it was nothing but a palette, the bottom of a palette, and she painted it. And those are special. Mark did this one Christmas. He gave me a clock that's got a guitar in it, and it hangs up in my shop. Just a small thing that makes an impression.
talking about small things. It's actually a big thing. But have y'all noticed this year, more and more, even on TV, you are hearing Merry Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Well,
understand?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Brother Barron.
He really recommends people to say it. Even CBS, which is.
They still say it has to happen.
Now, is literally actually, even their TV shows are incorporating
Right.
Merry Christmas. And I tell you another one, I was watching the other night, right over a big courtroom scene. In God we trust. This is on CBS. So you don't think God is getting through?
Exactly.
You can't.
Well, you remember when they lit the Christmas tree, Donald Trump and his wife lit the Christmas tree, the first thing he said was, Merry Christmas. And then it just blossomed from there. I thought, oh Lord, that's all we're gonna hear now. He's gonna be saying like that.
Some people really wanted inside to hear,
Yeah.
but they just did not want to admit that's what they wanted to hear.
All right, anybody else? Yes, sir.
On Christmas, we made all these ornaments and these like they were like cookies, but like they harden and then you paint them. And we made a bunch of those, and we put like them on the tree and everything, and we made cookies and everything, and we still have those ornaments.
That's awesome. We, at my house, we try to put a live tree up. And the reason we put a live tree up is because my girls enjoy the live Christmas tree. Now that they got families of their own, and really and truly, we just ain't got the room to put one up down at the pastoral. So we bought this little 4-foot diggy-woggy thing, and it's white. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's just not pretty. That is not a pretty.
I've got a green one, but it's not a white one.
You know, artificial or fine, that's just not a Christmas tree. You need to walk in the house and smell something, smell good like a pine
If
tree.
you have asthma and you walk in the house with that tree, you're gonna be sick.
That's right. We love the live Christmas tree, but this is not, you be in the hospital with oxygen.
Me too. I don't want that stuff all on the floor.
Miss Sylvia, we're just trying to help you to have something to do, you know? It's not like you ain't got nothing else to do.
Why don't you just put your garbage bag down there and set it in?
When there was a couple of years, Tricia would take the broom and lay it in the corner right next to the tree. And if you happen to see a few needles lay on the floor, quit sweep them up laying over there. Miss Bonnie?
We got to possess the truth.
The first year that we lived in our house where we are now, we put up a live Christmas tree, me and Kim. And I hurt my back. So the Christmas tree stayed up until March because we had moved and I had all these boxes around it and I couldn't unpack the boxes. So by the time it was time in March for me to get over there, Chris toted the boxes to me with me sitting in a chair.
Oh,
And I unpacked the boxes and threw away or whatever we wanted to do with the stuff and sent him and put it up. And when we got done to the tree, we took a piece of plastic and laid it down on the floor and he laid that tree over. And we toted that tree outside and undecorated it.
we did this one year. Our girls had, Tasha especially, had a bad habit of walking up and just touching the ornaments. And she's a little girl, little baby. She would touch the ornaments just to see if they would rock. And she would knock one off. Well, it would the glass and it would break. Well, that just tore her little heart. Slammed it, just tore her up. So what I did was the baby crib. Remember the baby cribs? I set that thing up and I put garland around it. And set the tree over inside of it. And the garland kind of decorated up and that kept the kids from getting inside of it. Well, 3 days before Christmas, we were sitting in the, me and Trish was trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And then Nicole come in the house and said, have y'all seen Tasha? And again, both of them little girls. And Tricia says, well, she was with you playing. Where did you leave her? She said, she wasn't with me playing. Now, Nicole never left the house. I mean, she'd always stayed right there by the house. But there was a place right out in the front yard where they had dug up, and I poured some sand down there, they'd have something playing. But I go out there and I'm all up under the trailer, and I'm all up in the neighborhood, and I'm hollering for Tasha, where are you at? And couldn't find her. When I come back in, I told Trish, I said, hey, Donovan has walked off. And Trish said, no, not Tasha. And then I happened, for some reason or another, I had to get down on my knees to pick something up, and guess what I saw underneath?
The Christmas tree.
The baby crib. It was Tasha. She had crawled up under there, and I said, baby, what are you doing that for? She said, I didn't want nobody to get my present. I said, well, that's why Daddy put it inside the baby crib where nobody gets your present. Well, I will make sure.
I've had to put a Christmas tree up 2 or 3 times, even though it's in the playfield. It gets turned over.
Now, folks, y'all don't get mad at me when I say this, but I'm not an animal lover in the house. Now, I love dogs and I love cats as long as they stay in the yard. So don't get mad at me. Don't nobody animal hater. I'm not an animal hater. I just don't want them in the house. When we first got married, Tricia had the prettiest Persian cat you've ever seen. That thing was black as the ace of spades, but it shed so bad. So bad. And it was a little female. We got married and I moved her into the trailer that I was renting, and we got everything set up to live. And she said, well, I'm bringing my cat with me, and I'm thinking, oh Lord, we're good. Cat's gonna live in the house. That cat took up with me. And I don't know what I've done to that cat. I just could not get in the house with this cat wanting me to hold her. I'd go in the house and sit there, and she'd lay in my lap and purr, 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 purr. And when she'd get off, I had enough hair on me to keep me warm for a day or two. So I have to go outside and knock all this cat hair off. Christmas comes around. I go and I get the live tree. We've got no children. She's pregnant with Nicole at this particular time. I go by the live tree. She says, why are you doing that? Nobody but me and you. I said, sir, you're going to learn real quick. There's one other thing that you need to know. See, when I proposed to Trish, I said these 3 things. I said, I'm not looking for a maid because I know how to clean my house. I'm not looking for a cook because I can cook. And I sure don't need a mom because I got one. Her response to me was, then why get married? And I responded by saying, I want a partner, someone that we can play with. Y'all get it? All right. She responded to this. She said to me, she said, okay, I can agree with that, but you're weird. Right? I told her, I said, as long as there's Christmases at my house, there will be a live tree in the house. I did not know a cat loved the water that's in that little dish.
That ain't all they like to do to the presents Sunday.
Yeah, let me get there. I missed that crazy cat. I come home from work one day, and I looked up under the Christmas tree, and she done licked all the water out of that little basin. So I filled it back up with water, and I looked for that cat, and looked for that cat, and looked for that cat. Could not find it. I'm sitting in the living room one night, and we're watching TV, and the Christmas tree is all pretty and straight, and all of a sudden that tree went. I looked at her and I said, is my vision going bad, or did that tree just move? And she said, no, that tree ain't moved. And it was thinking, I'm pretty sure it moved. And that tree moved again. I said, something's in that tree. And then it hit me. That cat's been crawled up in it. I walk over there and I start thundering through, trying to find where I can, and all of a sudden that cat just lunged at me. Y'all want to know something? That was the last time that cat was invited into my house. It scared the bejeebies out of me. Y'all, I mean, so bad that I messed up some stuff, I had to go get it fixed. That scared me, slam. I mean, I wasn't expecting that black cat to lunge at me, and she did, and I like to have passed out right there. I probably did. Well, we put her in the yard. I built this little thing where she'd have somewhere to sleep. She stayed in that thing, and then Nicole was born, and that cat got missing, and we ain't found her since. So we don't know what happened to her. Jealously. No, thank you, brother. I got one at the house today, bro. I appreciate you, brother. Somebody brought one to the house, and she's had 6. Y'all welcome to either one of them if you can catch them. That's the wildest bunch of cats I've ever seen in my, and I don't know what in the world I've done to them. Every time I walk out on the carport, boy, they scatter. They scatter. All right, anybody else got that fond Christmas memory? All right, I want to read this to you in the Bible.